girl for never asking her to spend the night and explained to her why I couldn't. And she said, well, I'm so glad you told me because I had you over so much and you were so happy and fun and I couldn't understand why you wouldn't bring me to your house.
Yeah.
But
so let's finish up with where you guys are now and how you look back on your life and how you feel about life right now at this point. Why don't you start, Sharon?
When I look back on our life together, I wanted to be married to someone who wanted to be married and be a father and a husband, and Bob wanted the same. And so we accomplished that. I think we gave our kids a good life. He and I had lots of fun together, did lots of crazy things I would have never done. Our life today is different. It's, we don't do crazy things anymore. We're older. Bob has limitations. It's sad for me. I miss getting dressed up in a fancy dress and going out dancing and to dinners, but we're just in a different stage of our life. It's not my favorite stage. My favorite stage is probably when the kids were little and we were, a family and doing things. But it is what it is, and we're making the best of it.
Okay, Bob?
Well, I often said that the first half of my life I was chasing what I thought I wanted until I met her and she gave me what I needed. She taught me to be human. She taught me to be silly. She taught me to be a father again. My first 3 kids, I was too busy making a career, thinking I was doing it for the family, but I was absent a lot. I was on call 24/7, and then I realized there was a lot more to life, and the first 5 years of our marriage were tough. Trying to meld 2 families with a new baby after we were married a year and a half, and it was, there's a lot of drama. But there was a point in time when we said to each other, we are a team. We are not going to let them come between us. We are one. And that made all the difference in the world. Because they were playing each other, playing us against each other. But it was worth fighting for because of where we had been, we knew we didn't want to go back there. My situation with my first wife was different. It was not a happy one, and when we met, it was like being given a second chance, or in your case, a third chance, or fourth.
Oh yeah, very funny.
But life threw us a lot of points where we had to make decisions. Do we go this way? Do we go that way? Do we move? Do we not move? And we made those decisions as a team. There was never any real conflict between the two of us. I really can't think of any major situations. I didn't drink. We didn't have a drinking problem. We were just, we were carrying our past with us in the beginning until it evaporated and we began to look ahead rather than look back. And that made a big difference.
All right. So the last question. Do you feel like all the things you've done have coalesced into a place where you feel like you've made a difference in other people's lives? Sharon?
I feel I've made a difference in a lot of my friends' lives. And I didn't even realize it until this friend from Texas had a problem with her son. I haven't seen her in 10 years, but she called me and asked me if she could come here and visit me. She needed to talk to someone who she could trust. And I thought that was really sad that she has all these friends where she lives, but she's reached out to me. And I have a lot of friends like that who confide in me, so I do think I make a difference.
How about family?
Oh, I think, other than Robbie, of course, that my kids, I've made a difference in their lives and help them to be who they are, and they depend on me and care about me, which is the greatest thing in the world to me.
Okay. Bob?
Well, you don't know what difference you make. I hope I do it through example. I do it through taking the time to talk to people. In my office, I always have 2 chairs in front of my desk because I worked for a fellow who had a round table, didn't have a desk. And he said he likes to sit down with people, not across from people, because the desk is a barrier. So whenever I had a meeting, I always sat with someone, not across from someone. I always took the time to put myself in their shoes and think like they thought. And one example is when I don't know, one time I was in charge of downtown Fort Worth. I had 500 employees in the hotel. I had a staff of about 60, and if someone had a better offer, came in, turned in their resignation, I would always ask the same question: are you going towards something or away from something? And I think there are times when I change people's minds, not by telling them what they should do, but by asking them that question. And I always felt that my people were the most important asset that anything they had. It weren't things, it weren't buildings, weren't office space, but taking the time to understand that everyone was important. I don't care what level, I don't care what education they had. And I always tried to be a good listener, but sometimes I went over the margin and talked too much. In fact, when I was in 2nd grade grammar school in Chicago, I got a double promotion from 2A to 2B. And I missed out on 2 other double promotions because the teacher said I talked too much. And I've never gotten rid of that habit. But I guess the one asset I brought to the table was, look what I've done, you could do it too. And if you put bookends on my early life, first bookend I would put was when I was 2 years old, living in a rented flat in Chicago, and I was leaning over petting a rat because I thought it was a squirrel. My grandmother came out with a bucket of water and threw it on us, and afterwards I had a lecture of the difference between a rat and a squirrel. That was 2. The other bookend was when I was involved with the Embarcadero, and we spent a weekend at the Rockefeller complex in New York, Botanical Hills. And David Rockefeller flew in that night. We had a nice dinner, and in this building we were in, it was called the Playhouse, but there was a soda fountain. And David always insisted he called people by his first names. And so he and Trammell Crow got behind the counter. They put on little white hats and white aprons, and David turned to me and said, "Bob, do you want chocolate or butterscotch on yours?" So that was quite a leap in life, but something I'll never forget, and I like to share that story when I can. But it's people, and love.
All right. Well, thank you. You both had interesting lives, and they're still going on. You're still impacting people, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk a little bit about yourselves, and especially I like the fact that you were a team. That was I think, a really important point. So I'm gonna stop this baby.
All right.